Hi everyone, this is Divya from Quick Mommy Hacks, and today we have a very fun rapid fire session to address all the nutrition myths during pregnancy, postpartum, and during breastfeeding. And to burst all these myths, we have Dr. Aalika Banerjee Shah with us. Hi Aalika, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So thank you so much for being here and doing this rapid fire with us. So are you ready for it?
I am more than ready.
Okay, so I'll go with my first question, or basically the first statement, which is eating more, you're eating for two.
Complete myth. This is one of my favorite myths that everyone gets to hear. You aren't eating for two, you're having nutrients for two, but not eating for two. Second and third trimester, you have to increase your calorie intake, but overall, eat how much your body demands.
Don't eat fish because of its mercury content.
Okay, so this is a myth. Fish is really good for your fetal development, brain, heart, mood, everything. Certain fish like tuna and king mackerel do have a little high mercury content. You can avoid them.
And avoid caffeine at all costs. It's bad for baby.
No. This is a myth. For all coffee lovers like me, you can have up to 200 milligrams of coffee. That's around 150 ml, 2 cups a day. That's fine.
And stop exercising, put your feet up and relax.
Myth. I don't need to talk about the benefits of exercise. It's great if your doctor says yes, you have to do it. It's amazing for you.
Eat only organic food because it's good for your baby.
This is also a myth. I know we want the best for ourselves and our babies, but organic food has its pros, less chemicals and pesticides, but its cons as well. It's expensive, etc. So certain things you can have organic, but everything doesn't need to be organic.
No cold food, only hot food.
Not true. In fact, when I was in my first trimester, I was only having curd and ice cream and cold stuff. So raw food you can avoid, but not cold food. It's okay. Cold food is fine.
And cravings are the way of your body telling you what it needs.
This is a myth because your body actually needs vitamin C and calcium, but you're craving a chocolate chip ice cream. So no, they're your hormones and your mind, etc. telling you. So it's a myth.
Eat a lot of ghee, clarified butter, because it's good for smooth delivery.
Again, this is one of my favorites. It's a myth completely. Ghee is good for you, good fats, but in limits, it's not going to help you with an easy delivery. No way.
Eat a lot of meat to get all the protein that you need.
Again, this is a myth. Lots of myths, basically. So there are a lot of vegans, vegetarian moms out there, lots of vegetarian sources of protein. As long as you hit the right amount, whether you get it from meat or whatever, it's fine.
And this is actually my favorite one also, that papayas and pineapples, they cause miscarriage.
So honestly, this is a myth, but there is a little bit of truth in terms of how much you have. So if you have 10 to 12 pineapples a day, you're going to probably have bleeding and contractions. But if you have a little amount of pineapple, that's fine. And papaya, maybe the raw, the unripe, the green papaya, you can avoid early on because it can lead to a little bit of contractions or preterm labor. So that's it. Again, little bit is fine.
And this one is about spicy food. So eating spicy food can make you go into labor.
No, myth again. Of course, if a woman is already dilated and she, has spicy food, it can irritate the stomach, cause some cramping, but it's not going to help her induce labor. No.
So say no to soft cheeses during pregnancy.
So this is a fact. Because most soft cheeses are not pasteurized, might carry listeria, you might get listeriosis. So maybe you want to avoid unpasteurized soft cheeses.
And full cream milk or fatty milk because it's good for easier delivery.
This is a complete myth. There are lots of people who are lactose intolerant also not drinking milk. Full fat milk is not going to help you. In fact, you might even put on a lot of unnecessary weight with full fat milk. So it's not a must at all.
Okay, so the next one is actually probably a favorite of everybody. Eat saffron or something white because then you will have a fairer baby.
I don't even have to say this. It's a complete myth. The complexion of your baby is decided the minute the baby is conceived. It depends on the genes and has nothing to do with what you eat.
And there's a lot of talk about eating coconut will make the baby fairer and also give them thick hair.
Again, this is not, I wouldn't say, it's a myth, of course, fairer, as I said, and good hair also. It'll help you and it does have a lot of benefits, coconut, but it's not going to, your baby's not going to come out with some shiny hair and fair skin just because you have a lot of coconut. No.
And morning sickness means that the baby is not getting enough nutrition.
Again, this is a myth. I had horrible morning sickness. I was throwing up, but the baby and the body is so smart that the baby takes all the nutrition from the mother. So you might be, depleted with your nutrients, but your baby, don't worry, is getting whatever it needs.
So is it true that all pregnant women crave for ice cream and pickles?
Again, that's a myth. In fact, my morning sickness was so bad that I had no cravings. Any food or even water, the sight of anything used to make me feel sick. So it really, really depends. It's very individual. Everyone's cravings are very different.
And drink lots and lots of water while you're breastfeeding.
I would say this is a fact. It's great to drink lots of water, and it does help with good lactation, for sure.
And how about this? Avoid caffeine, alcohol, garlic, and spices while you're breastfeeding.
Again, this is partly a myth. Certain things like garlic, in fact, are great for milk production. Alcohol, caffeine, of course, we know we need to avoid. But, in a certain amount, people do have a little bit of caffeine, as I said. Alcohol also, after a point, women can start drinking a little bit, maybe a glass or two, but after they feed, and usually, you should give a good gap of 4 hours before you feed again. And spicy food, yes, some babies do get irritated and colicky, so you can avoid depending on your own baby. But there's nothing like completely avoid it.
So a lot of breastfeeding moms have confusion over this, that breastfeeding moms should avoid allergens such as nuts and wheat to prevent the baby from getting allergies.
Okay, so again, this is a myth mainly because there's only a very small percentage, like 2 to 3 in 100 kids, that actually can develop allergies based on the mother's milk, right? And mostly it will be cow's milk, wheat, soy, peanuts, eggs, which are, the common ones. You have to see your baby and understand if you feel like they are having any symptoms like not putting on enough weight, they're, vomiting, or they're colicky, irritated. Notice all these things. If you feel like it, then, you can talk to your doctor.
So the next one is something which I was also told. You need to drink a lot of cow's milk in order to make milk.
This is a big myth. As I said, there are a lot of women who are vegan, who are lactose intolerant, who don't drink milk and yet feed well. So milk is not something that, of course, it's a good source of calcium and protein, but it's not a must at all.
And how about having lots of ghee while you're breastfeeding?
Again, this is a very common one we hear, especially all the elders. Again, myth. You don't have to have lots of ghee. You will end up putting on more weight after delivery. Limited amount is good depending on where you stand with your weight. But ghee is good and it does have its benefits.
And the next one is about milk supply. So, focus on certain foods like ghee, we talked about, oats, pumpkin, ajwain to have better milk supply.
So this is somewhere a fact, because as a medical nutritionist, I have seen certain things, even like methi seeds, fennel seeds, tulsi, all these are galactagogues which do help increase your milk production. So bajra, you add these in your diet, you can increase your milk production.
And how about avoiding gassy foods such as broccoli to prevent your baby from becoming gassy?
I would say this is also somewhere between a fact and a myth. Depending on how sensitive your baby is. Some babies really, they don't get affected, while some babies really get affected by things like broccoli, cauliflower, beans, etc. So understand your baby and individualize it. Yeah.
And I can't take medications because I'm breastfeeding.
This is a myth. All medications are not completely off the board. There's certain ones, of course, which you can't take, and they clearly state, if you're not sure, go and ask your doctor before you take any medication, because everything does go into your breast milk.
So this one is about pregnancy weight. It's impossible to lose pregnancy weight.
Oh, that's a big, big myth. We've seen so many mothers bounce back and keep some hope, because it can happen. You just need to put in that effort.
And pineapple core will help with implantation.
So honestly, this is a myth because it's not scientifically proven, but it does have a lot of benefits. It helps in thinning your blood. It helps in, thickening your lining. So a lot of people do take it, but off the charts, but there's no scientific proof that it is definitely going to help you.
So we have heard a lot about like different minerals and nutrients that you need, okay, while getting pregnant. So how about when you're trying for a baby, you only need folic acid?
Uh, this is a myth because, of course, you need folic acid, especially even 3 months before you try to conceive. It's one of the most important ones. But apart from that, your vitamin C, A, your omega-3s, all of that, your protein, L-carnitine, all of them are important. So try and get, even the microminerals like zinc, selenium in small quantities are very important.
Dairy and gluten should be avoided while you're trying to conceive.
This is a myth. Each one, it depends on your body. If you need to lose weight, if you are gluten intolerant, lactose intolerant, you can avoid it. But otherwise, if you're completely okay with it, continue having it.
Eating soy can actually cause hormonal disturbances.
So this is also a myth, and I would only say this because it depends on the dose and the amount. When something you have in excess, it could be poisonous, I'm just saying that it's all about the dose. So unless you're glugging like lots of soy milk and having lots of tofu, it can, because it mimics estrogen in your body, but limited amounts are not going to really unbalance your hormones. No.
So like all the the moms who have conceived, they think that they can go on a strict diet as soon as they have given birth.
Okay. This is a myth. You should not. I would say be very careful. If you cut down your calories and your nutrients, you are going to have problems with lactation and recovery. You're not going to get your strength back. So please avoid it immediately as soon as you deliver.
And you should eat a lot of gond or like the gum laddus to prevent backaches during postpartum.
I would say fact, but not a lot. Maybe one a day is okay because it's very energy dense. It does have its benefits. It's rich in calcium, rich in protein, helps with your joints. But of course, if you have too much, you're not going to really lose weight, and it's not going to be beneficial. So limited, maybe like an evening one snack is fine.
And then castor oil, that also helps induce labor.
Okay, this is also, I would say it's somewhere between a fact and myth, only because castor oil is mainly a laxative, and it does have some effect on your uterine muscles and it can help with contraction, but it's not scientifically proven. So I would not say go glugging castor oil, because it also has a lot of GI, gastrointestinal effects and side effects, so maybe it will not suit everyone, so you can avoid it if not needed.
And dates, fennel seeds, sesame seeds should all be avoided during pregnancy.
This is a myth. I would say everything again in your limit. You can't go having 10 dates or a handful of fennel, a handful of sesame seeds. Yes, they do induce a little bit of heat and they can cause some premature contractions or labor. So again, in its limits, everything is fine.
So how about raw onions and garlic? They can cause heartburn.
I would say this is a fact, honestly, because a lot of people anyway suffer from a lot of acidity and heartburn, and raw onions and garlic are notorious to cause that heartburn and acidity. So if you're feeling that, maybe you can skip it from your diet.
So it's safe to consume low-calorie sweeteners in pregnancy.
This is part fact, part myth. There are certain sweeteners, which are okay. Like sucralose is fine, aspartame is fine, a little bit of stevia is fine. Then there's some like saccharin, sweet and low. All those can be avoided. Overall, I would say if you can avoid it.
And how about having maca root supplements? They increase fertility.
I would say this is a fact, because maca root has, a lot of proven benefits for male fertility, for libido, for female hormonal imbalances. So it won't necessarily harm you or be a bad thing to try it and take it to boost your fertility.
So the last one that we have is eating lots of omega-3s that can help your baby's brain to develop faster and better.
I would say this is a fact. Omega-3 is proven to be fabulous for your mind development, to set up all the neuronal networks. So, whether you're eating fish or whether you're having vegan sources like walnuts and chia seeds, try and get a good amount of omega-3 every day when you're pregnant.
So I think that brings us to the end of it. Thank you so much for this fast rapid fire. It was very exciting, and I think it must help a lot of women out there.
Thank you for having me. I had so much fun doing this. And I hope it busts a lot of myths out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah? All right. Thank you.
If you like our videos, do subscribe to our YouTube channel, Quick Mommy Hacks, and follow us on Instagram for some personal tips on pregnancy, childbirth, and motherhood. And do leave your feedback and comments. We would love to hear from you.